Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another trade recap. Today I'm going to be going over to the trade that I ended up taking today. Unfortunately, I ended up getting break even today. Well, not unfortunately. Well, it is unfortunate. I was going to go over how I got break even today. Shit, tragic with no panic, I'm not going to lie. But coming into market open overall, like we did take the internal high prior, but definitely leaning more bullish. Wasn't like surefire bullish, but if we just look at the higher time frame here, especially like monthly, we had a monthly retrace, so I can sort of expect all-time highs from this. Those are like two things that we're really going to do here on the higher time frame, and we have two monthly gaps right here, as you can see. So what we're going to probably realistically, well, it's not realistically, there's like literally it's option A or B. There's no really in between unless we have a huge dump out of nowhere, which wouldn't really make sense, but we have this daily gap here. So this daily gap is either going to send us lower, and we're going to like fill more of this range on the higher time frame here, this monthly, come in here, collect all these big orders inside of here, and then push our way back up to all-time highs, which would be cool, because then we'd be actually, you know, moving on the higher time frame how the market should be. But either way, it's fine. We could also end up going back to all-time highs like now. This could be a market maker buy model on the higher time frame, probably looking like 4 hour daily. Yeah, no, definitely daily. Yeah, we could end up having a daily market maker buy model. And Jesus, oh my god, this looks disgusting. The daily time frame looks terrible, bro. Like, oh my god, trading is so chalked right now, but it's fine. We could get a market maker buy model potentially starting to form all the way back up to all-time highs right now. So definitely didn't really want to short anything in this range, to be honest. Wasn't a fan of shorts. I mean, market open had a pretty good short, which I kind of wanted to take a stab at, but I didn't. Anyway, let's go over. Leaning more bullish. I could see bearish side of things, but definitely leaning more bullish coming into market open. We had an unfilled 15-minute fair value gap, or no, actually not unfilled, but we had a 15-minute fair value gap right here, and we ended up taking out internal high when we had an SMT up here. So yeah, let's have a look what market open does. So 9:30 ends up opening higher here, and we kind of just rip past this internal high, and then we get a immediate inversion to the downside here. Now obviously it's not going to be the highest time frame one, of course, because it is 9:30 open, so it's going to be a lot of volatility. If you did end up taking this displacing candle right here, I actually really don't mind this at all. I think this is a pretty good stab, and maybe for funded, I'm not too sure, but for evals this is definitely pretty good. The 1-to-1 here was pretty nice, I believe. Did it even hit a 1-to-1 before you got taken out break even? It did. So it hit like a clean little 1-to-1, depending on where you had your stop loss at. The volatility was clean. But again, for me personally, I'm not really going to take something like this because higher time frame wise, even though we did resweep inside of a daily and all that, this would be more of an eval trade for me. I'd take this on eval. I wouldn't really take this on funded. I wouldn't like to put my money on this because of how volatile 9:30 is. And for me to ever take a 9:30 play, it has to be with the higher time frame, and it has to be inside of a key level, and it has to be a continuation, not a reversal. So yeah. With that in mind, I think we end up actually getting like a decent long opportunity here. I think Blake ended up taking the CISD here. I don't really agree with this, especially considering we had a 2-minute fair value gap here, which you definitely should have been waiting for, in my opinion anyway, if you were confident in the stop loss being protected. But just with the low resistance liquidity that we had down here building up to this unfilled 4 hour, especially with London session below, I felt like with the 9:30 opening higher, and with this narrative, I don't think it was a generation of liquidity. I do believe it was like a manipulation move slightly higher for us to push price lower. And I think we actually end up projecting off of a 5 block here, and then this trade just gets slammed. And ES was also at this time not really looking bullish whatsoever. It was definitely looking a lot more bearish than it was. It didn't make this retrace higher. It was kind of just moving lower. And then we ended up getting put into like this chop. Today was really choppy. In a sense, we kind of just kept generating highs, generating, and then we eventually ended up coming in. Bro, Rose is at me today. Pause, unpause. And yeah, we kind of just started to chop around here, and then we failed to go lower off of this inversion. And then, to be honest, anywhere at this point, we had an SMT down here. I was just looking for a strong displacing candle upwards because I was super confident in prices higher here. And the reason for that was mainly because of the S&P 500, right? If we want to go back here, we had triple equal highs here on the S&P 500. Now, obviously down here, this was around 1017. So at 1017, where was the S&P 500? Right here, right? So at 1017, as you can see, great displacing candles higher, triple equal highs, excellent draw on liquidity to target. So with this in mind, I felt like the break even on this was definitely like free. Like this was free break even. 100%, and I don't mind free break evens. You know, could be a TP, could be break even. I was definitely presuming that this was going to be, but this was kind of just a stab. Like, I wouldn't really recommend, like, this is definitely not A plus in my opinion, just because of the terrible price action. Like, if we look at the 5-minute barcode, straight barcode, this is bad price action. And to be honest, I feel like I was a little bit hasty today. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sit here and say I wasn't. Because that would be a lie. I need to take accountability when I need to, but I don't think, I definitely probably should have avoided this trade, but I did have discretionary wise a lot of confidence. All I wanted to see was just a really strong displacing candle after we hit the 4 hour, so I could actually have a protected stop loss, instead of like taking any displacing candles here. Of course, this is all just terrible. So yeah, we ended up getting this displacing candle here, and I think my entry, oh man, I don't even want to talk about it, but my entry was chalked, and this is the reason why I ended up getting break even. I think my entry was like literally right here. Don't even ask what I was doing today. I was actually on, I was just stupid. It was like on this wick, like right here, and stop loss was just like on the body here. I did not want to see these this huge 1 minute get inverse. I think it was a 2 minute actually. Yeah, it was like a 2 minute. I did not want to see this 2 minute get inverse, so this was a perfectly fine stop loss in my opinion. And with this, I was just targeting a, yeah, it was kind of just like a bit, it was like a bit of a one-to-one. Maybe my stop loss was slightly bigger. Could have been like here. Yeah, I was targeting just 90 points with this, so just going for a 1-to-1. I entered this with slightly de-risk. I think I took like 2 micros on this, when I'd usually take around 3-ish on this, so risk around 400, 500. On this, I risk around like maybe like 390, 400-ish, around that ballpark. And then, as you can see, we ended up displacing here. Now I ended up going break even. I think it was around here at 1028. Reason being was simply because ES ended up taking those triple highs. So what time did it take it out actually? 1027. So yeah, ended up going break even like right here. I adjusted my stop loss to the low that we put inside the gap once we took this internal high right here, just because I didn't want to see prices lower after this displacement. And yeah, so break even as soon as ES took all my draws, which is completely fair, valid break even in my opinion for sure. And then unfortunately we actually ended up getting our TP. I think we're around how much? Yeah, no, we're still decently far away, not really. Got close to TP, and then unfortunately I got wicked out by like the tick. Yeah, it was bad. This is tragic. Literally, like, you'd have to zoom in to look at it, but I got break even by the literal tick, and then we just sprinted to my take profit. Super unfortunate break even, but hey, what can you do? I low-key deserved this break even for even entering this trade in the first place, because looking at the market conditions, like leaning up to this is definitely not great conditions. It's very poor conditions actually. So this probably should have been a no trade day, but we ended up getting break even on the day, almost TP. And yeah, that really is what it is. What was good about this trade, we had a protected stop loss being the 4 hour. We had very good draws on the SP 500 being triple equal highs, definitely leaning a lot more bullish than bearish. And the displacement was there on both pairs. We had a huge CISD obviously right here with the inversion. Just really good displacement. Bad things about this trade, just really bad market conditions. That's it. The market conditions were just bad, and that is a big thing that is wrong with the trade. It's not a small thing. That is a major thing that is wrong with this trade. So this is definitely a good journal, good video to make. And just looking at this, yeah, I definitely shouldn't have taken this in the first place, purely just because of how bad market conditions were. But overall, actually, I believe trade of the day, in my opinion, was actually this 5 minute. So we actually ended up getting a 5 minute here, 5 minute for value gap to send us higher, and then we got this CISD and this inversion. I think if you took this, I think this is actually fine. I do think this does end up getting break even though before the 1-to-1, if I'm not mistaken. If you'd want to have your stop loss here going for 53 points, you would kind of have to go break even at this internal high. If you didn't, it would be a bit silly. So yeah, this would have been a break even trade, and then a TP, I believe, after 11 AM, chopped around for 10 years. Yeah. So yeah, overall, as you can see, just really poor PA today. If you didn't take anything, you're a better trader than me, Loki. Yeah, we ended up giving this a stab because I did have the confidence for higher for sure, especially just because of how the ES was moving. At this point, ES was like clearly in a buy model towards these obvious draws that I had. So I do think, like, in a sense, it was definitely worth a stab, but not a great trade at all. I'd probably rate it like, overall, like, if you speak about the technicals of this trade, it's like A, but if you look at the market conditions, it definitely brings it down by a big shot, like B minus, I would say. B minus B. So definitely, like, not the best. We won't be taking a setup like this again, so it's good to journal this. Did get away with it this time, almost hit TP, but we ended up getting break even by a tick, which is probably like God's way of saying, you're an idiot, don't take shit like this ever again. So fair enough, I respect it. And yeah, that's really going to be it for today's recap, guys. Just overall poor PA. Ended up, at least I actually caught the move though. Hey, we can say that. If I got a good entry, I wouldn't have gotten break even and I would have hit TP, but I'm a chud, so I didn't. It is what it is. I was sleeping today. And yeah, overall, hopefully we can get some better price action for the rest of this week, Wednesday and Thursday. Hopefully we can get some clean continuation models to take here. And yeah, except for that, I will catch you guys in the next video. Let me know in the comments if you guys took any trades today, or if you tried a different model and ended up taking a short or a long, got break even, TP, stop loss. I'm always interested to hear what other people are taking. And if you have any questions, maybe something I didn't cover that you guys are interested on, please leave it in the comments below. And if you have any questions for me personally that you'd like to ask, my Discord, Instagram, and TikTok will be in the bio of this video, so you guys can go check that out. Give me a follower, add me on any of those platforms, and shoot me a DM. I will 100% respond with any questions that you may have. So, unfortunate break even today. Could have been a banger TP, but it is what it is. Who cares? We move on, and we hope for a good price action for the rest of the week. And yeah, oh, actually I forgot to recap yesterday. I was super tired yesterday, but overall yesterday was just trash. Honestly, there was like no setups that I liked at all, and it was just pure chop. We just had this move higher and then we just dumped, and we just chopped around. Really nothing worth talking about. I think I literally hopped off at like, I don't even know what time. I think I hopped off at like around here, like 10 past 10. Yeah, just PA not even worth talking about in my opinion. It was pretty poor. And yeah, that's going to wrap up today's video. I hope you guys have a blessed rest of your evening, morning, or wherever you are, and have a blessed rest of your week, and keep pushing towards your goals. And I will catch you guys in the next video, which will be tomorrow. So except for that, I will see you guys. Have a good one. Peace.